You're sitting around a fire. It's 80,000 years ago. The sun disappeared hours ago. The darkness beyond the flames is absolute. Somewhere out there are predators with teeth longer than your fingers. Somewhere out there is death. But around the fire, something strange is happening. One person throws a handful of leaves into the flames. The smoke changes. People start laughing. Someone begins singing. Someone else stares into the fire as if they're seeing another world hidden inside it. And then, for the first time in human history, someone asks a question that would change our species forever. What if feeling different isn't an accident? Because here's something nobody tells you. The desire to alter your consciousness might be older than civilization, older than farming, older than cities, possibly older than religion itself. And if that's true, then one of humanity's oldest traditions isn't building monuments. It's escaping reality. Think about how strange this is. Across nearly every culture ever discovered, humans have found ways to alter their minds. Alcohol, cannabis, psychedelic mushrooms, tobacco, coffee, tea, opium, kava, coca leaves, ayahuasca, even fasting, even meditation, even spinning in circles until you collapse. Different cultures, different continents, different eras, same behavior. Why? Why would a species spend thousands of years searching for ways to change how reality feels? Most animals don't do this. Or at least that's what scientists used to think. And then researchers started paying attention. And things got weird. Very weird. Let's start with elephants, because elephants apparently have hobbies. In parts of Africa, elephants seek out fermented fruit. Not fresh fruit, fermented fruit. Fruit that's begun producing alcohol. And after eating enough of it, they behave exactly how you'd expect. Stumbling, acting erratically, making terrible decisions, basically becoming the world's largest college freshman. But elephants aren't alone. Jaguars chew psychoactive vines. Reindeer eat hallucinogenic mushrooms. Dolphins have been observed passing around pufferfish, which release toxins that appear to create altered states. Even insects consume naturally occurring intoxicants. At first, scientists assumed these behaviors were accidents. Then they noticed something. The animals kept doing it. On purpose. Again, and again, and again. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If animals seek altered states naturally, why wouldn't humans? Now here's where things get interesting. In the 1980s, psychopharmacologist Ronald Siegel proposed something controversial. He called it the intoxication hypothesis. His argument was simple. Humans don't use mind-altering substances because culture taught us to. Culture developed around a behavior that was already there. In other words, the desire to alter consciousness might be a biological drive, like hunger, like thirst, like sex. Think about that. Not a flaw, not a mistake, not a modern problem, a fundamental part of being human. At first, this idea sounded ridiculous. Then researchers looked at history. And suddenly it didn't seem so ridiculous anymore, because everywhere they looked, humans were doing the same thing. Let's travel back, way back, long before writing, long before kings, long before anyone had ever heard of a country. Imagine a small band of hunter-gatherers moving through a forest. They know every plant, every animal, every sound. Their survival depends on it, and eventually they notice something. Some plants make you sick. Some plants kill you, and some plants do something else. They change your thoughts, your emotions, your perception, your dreams. Nobody knows exactly when humans first discovered psychoactive plants, and we probably never will, because plants don't leave archaeological records very well. But here's the thing. Humans have been experimenting with plants for hundreds of thousands of years. Every edible plant on Earth had to be tested by someone. Which means every psychoactive plant was probably tested too. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes accidentally, sometimes with consequences severe enough that nobody got a second attempt. Prehistoric research and development was a brutal process. The peer review system occasionally involved dying. Now imagine you're an early human. You have no neuroscience, no psychology, no chemistry, no understanding of the brain whatsoever. One day you eat a plant. Suddenly you see visions, you hear voices, you feel disconnected from reality. What conclusion would you reach? Most likely the same conclusion nearly every ancient culture reached. You've contacted something beyond yourself. This is where altered states become deeply important. Because many anthropologists believe experiences caused by psychoactive substances may have influenced the earliest religious beliefs. Not religion as we know it, but the idea that another world exists. A world of spirits, ancestors, gods. For thousands of years, altered states weren't considered escapes from reality. They were considered deeper access to reality. And that distinction changes everything. Every civilization had them. Different names, same role. The people who knew how to travel somewhere others couldn't. Shamans in Siberia, medicine men in North America, priests in ancient Greece, mystics in India, vision seekers in the Amazon. These weren't recreational users, they were specialists. Experts, individuals trusted to enter altered states and return with knowledge. To modern audiences, that sounds mystical. But from their perspective, it was practical. Need guidance? Consult the shaman. Need healing? Consult the shaman. Need answers? Consult the person who can enter another state of consciousness. Whether those experiences reflected external realities or internal brain states is still debated. What isn't debated is how widespread the practice became. Humanity didn't just stumble into altered states. We built entire cultures around them. Now let's fast forward. Because modern neuroscience discovered something fascinating. The brain doesn't always want stability. It wants novelty, prediction, exploration. Certain altered states temporarily disrupt normal patterns of brain activity. They create new connections, new perspectives, new experiences. Sometimes that's beneficial. Sometimes it's destructive. Often it's both. But here's the crucial point. The brain appears uniquely sensitive to experiences that temporarily break ordinary consciousness. We're not machines designed to stay fixed. We're explorers, even inside our own minds. And that might explain why the search never stopped. Across thousands of years, across every civilization, across every generation, humans kept searching, not because reality was broken, but because curiosity is one of the most powerful forces in the human brain. The science may be modern, but the impulse is ancient. But maybe we're looking at this the wrong way, because when people hear altered states, they immediately think drugs. Yet altered states are everywhere. Music, meditation, prayer, exercise, love, sex, dancing, breathing techniques, sleep deprivation, extreme sports, virtual reality, even binge-watching content until 3 a.m. Human beings are constantly searching for experiences that shift consciousness. The substance changes, the technology changes, the ritual changes, the drive remains. Maybe the real story isn't about drugs. Maybe it's about something much deeper. Maybe humans have always been searching for ways to step outside themselves, even briefly, even imperfectly, just to see what else is there. The question nobody asks isn't why humans seek altered states. It's why humans have never stopped. So let's go back to that fire. 80,000 years ago, the flames crackle, the smoke rises. Someone throws a strange plant into the embers. People laugh, people wonder, people feel different. And for a moment, they glimpse a version of reality they didn't know existed. That same curiosity lives inside us today. It's there when we listen to music that gives us chills, when we lose ourselves in a story, when we meditate, when we dream, when we stare at the stars and feel small. For 100,000 years, humans have searched for altered states. Not because we're broken, not because we're trying to escape life, but because curiosity may be the most human thing about us. We are the species that doesn't just experience consciousness, we investigate it. And somewhere around a prehistoric fire, long before history began, someone took the first step on that journey. We've been following ever since. Your breathing,